it's Liz Yuille from Old Stables Crafts and welcome to my YouTube channel today. Today I am doing a project that is part of the SU Home Decor blog hop, which is a bit of a mouthful, but there we go. And this is the project that I have for you today. It's just a little framed piece and I've made the frame. I haven't finished decorating it yet. I'm going to do that at the end, but the first thing I want to show you is how to make the frame, because it's made out of card, it's made out of a piece of A4 cardstock, but you can make it, if you're in the US, you can make it out of the 8.5 by 11, because the way I'm going to explain it hopefully means you can make it out of any size card you want. I have done this before, but it's always good to have a little refresh every now and again. So let's pop that to the side. I'm going to use Petal Pink this time in a hope that it'll pick up on the camera. You never know. So here is a piece of A4 cardstock. So it's just the standard size cardstock that we get in most of Stampin' Up! World other than North America. And all I've done is, or all I'm going to do is, on my scoreboard, is score at every ½ inch 4 times. So ½ inch, 1 inch, 1.5 and 2 inches. And then I'm going to turn my card round because we do not have imperial measurements here. This is a metric piece of card that I'm then forcing imperial measurements onto. So doing exactly the same again, and then the same again on the sides. So every ½ inch, from ½ inch to 2 inches on every single side. And I have to say, even if I had 8.5 by 11, I think I would do all of my scoring at this side, because you never know exactly how accurate card has been cut. Right, now we go back to the portrait view, and at the 2.5 inch come down to the 1 inch line. And I'm going to do that at the bottom as well. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to just go up. It's out of camera, but I'm just doing exactly the same thing at the bottom. And the same again. So the 2.5 come down 1 inch. 1, 2, 3, 4, and same at the bottom. Right, that is all of our scoring. So it's actually quite easy scoring. There's just rather a lot of it. Now I have done a template. So I've drawn in all my score lines. The only ones that I have now got to add in are these diagonals here, and then where it's red, that all gets cut away. So we're cutting away all of the corners. So first things first, let's pop in our diagonals. So now what I tend to do is actually line up on right the way across. So I'm crossing at 3 points. So 1, 2, 3, but then just do that first diagonal. It just means you're more likely to be actually sort of, you know, properly lined up. So I'm going from the middle, you need to come out just a wee bit from the middle point out. And I don't know whether you can see that. Whether I turn it over. Hopefully when I've scored everything and we're cutting away, it will be more obvious, but that was rather why I went for the template as well. And I will have pictures of the template over on my website. As ever, if you open the description bar below this video, you will find the associated blog post. So, and then obviously if you click on that, you'll go straight there. So I've just done these diagonal lines, which are these ones here. So I am going to burnish my extreme score marks. So I'm doing the 2 inch mark on everything because then I kind of know where I'm starting from. because if we look at the template, what we're going to cut away is this piece, and then this piece here. So first things first, it says starting on a different corner because it's easier for me, we cut on the long edge up to the 4th score line. So we're on the 4th score line and we're cutting to the 4th score line. And you're cutting to one side of your score line. You want to cut inside that. Now it's probably easiest at this point if you then just cut away the whole of that corner. I'm not worried that that's not a particularly straight cut because it's not going to be there anyway. The only bit that's going to end up being there is this last ½ inch. So if we get rid of all of that, and this one here, we then got most of our cutting away done, but we've now got this little slither to get rid of. Now I tend at this point just to fold that just so that it's a little more obvious where it is, and then just cut it away and just make sure you go to that score line. And then in fact it's probably going to be easier for you to see it if I burnish all of the other score lines at this point, because then you'll be able to see what I've done. So I'll only do these end bits for the moment because those are the bits that matter at the moment. So I'm coming from there to there and down to that line. So let's go down to the line and then down to the line over here. And then we're just folding those bits in, and if you make sure that they're straight along the crease line, so this cut edge is straight along this crease line and this cut edge is straight along that crease line, then we know that what we cut away is going to be a nice 90-degree angle, which is kind of what we want because these bits are going to be sort of visible, as in really quite visible. So then just fold these bits out of the way and chop. And same again, except we want it that way, fold it out of the way and go from corner to corner and just get rid of it. Fold in and get rid, fold in and get rid. So that is our basic chopping. Oops. And if I lay that on top of my template, you will see that it lines up beautifully. So this is the point that if you wanted to put some designer series paper in the middle, you could do so. Just seeing what I've got in the way of a sensible size piece. To it the answer is I haven't. So this is roughly 4.5 inches by, oh, I wrote it down, 4.5 by 7.5, in fact 4.25 by 7.5. It's slightly longer than 7.5, but it doesn't matter because we're going to hide it. So at this point we want to burnish our last score lines, and then we can build the frame. Now if I just bring in this for the moment, so obviously designer series paper in the back. I cut home, and this was using the large letter alphabet dies, and I've done 4 layers of cardstock. So I've got 3 layers of Petal Pink and 1 of Poppy Parade. And then I've used the Painted Seasons stamp set, and it's actually Painted Seasons paper, designer series paper in the back here. That comes as a bundle as part of the second release, so you can have the Painted Seasons paper, and the Painted Seasons stamps even, and the Painted Seasons paper, and it's 4 designs, 2 sides obviously, and you've got toadstools, succulents, the poppy, which is the one that I'm using, I say poppy, flower, and then this which is backed with the pattern that I've used here. And this is a level 2 second release item. She says desperately trying to find her second release brochure, which I have buried somewhere. So it is over on my website, so if you go over to my website and look at current offers, you'll find it there. It's also in the sidebar. So I've stamped, I'm only telling you this now because this is now going to take a while to put together. I've stamped in Grapefruit Grove and Poppy Parade, and then for the middle of the flowers I've just used some early espresso on a dauber just to give some shading. Then Call Me Clover, Lemon Lime Twist, and yeah. So yes, that's the 5 colours. So, and then obviously I've die cut. Now the die cuts aren't available until the 1st of March, and it's the 4 season framelit dies, at which point you can buy those. They are not sale-a-bration items, they're part of the sale-a-bration coordination, which is coming from the 1st of March until the end of sale-a-bration. Right, okay, so after which waffle, time to glue. So I'm running Tombow along the inside piece of the long edge, and then on the crease of the most outside score line. And then if I fold that over and just fold here, so I'm folding on the 3rd score line, so I'm just folding it flat, but this piece is tucked under, and that means that I've got a nice flat surface to make sure that that glue is stuck down. Then repeat the same again, so come on to the large piece of cardstock, and then the edge, as in the folded edge of the first score line. That just means that you're going to get it right up to that score line, and then you're folding it so that that is all flat. Burnish along there. Now you could use tear and tape. I wouldn't use snail. Snail really isn't strong enough for this. So that's that. Then we're going to do exactly the same here. So in there, and then on the first score line, and again we're going to flatten, but this time we're just flattening to there, so we've got this funny shape here, which is fine. And same again, just make sure that these bits don't then stick down to themselves. So inside the frame, on the score line, and then fold down. And that is your basic frame made. So what you then do is you bring up your sides and your ends, ideally at the same time, but obviously you can do them slowly, because you need about 5 pairs of hands to do this, and just make sure that everything, so you want these diagonals to go underneath the rectangles of the side. It just takes a bit of fiddling, and there you go. Now you obviously need to put some glue there. What I would recommend at this point is that you get your trusty glue dots, because you can use Tombow, but it's a lot quicker to use a glue dot, and you can just pop a glue dot right on that corner. So if we get 4 of those out and pop it right on this inside corner. Inside corner. And the last one. Inside corner. And then when you make sure that they're actually down, when you pull that up, the glue dot will go underneath and hold that in place, and then just say manipulate those so that they go under as well, and then just push down gently so that you've got your corners tucked away. So you can use Tombow. Tombow's probably a stronger finish, but it is a bit of a fiddle. And that is your basic piece. So I have put a stand on the back of my piece of frame. So on my frame here I have got, oh, it's 16 minutes already. So I've got a piece of cardstock that is still A4, but I've chopped a piece off. So all I've done is cut that at 2 inches and then get rid of that, scored, and I'm going back into into metric now, into halfway, which is the 10.5 centimetre mark, then 1 inch and 1/4 inch. This is an arbitrary measurement, so 1 inch and 1/4 inch, and then that folds up, and then everything folds inwards, and then you just run some adhesive there to stick those 2 pieces together, fold it flat, and that then goes on the back here. And if I bring out here's one I made earlier, that's exactly what I've done here. Hopefully you can see that there's the stand, and that means that you can stand your piece up. So let's just finish making this one. I've got some more die cuts ready to go. So the key here is to not let anything come below this line because it's going to stand. So what I've done is, having die cut them, I've then just kind of manipulated these flowers a bit just to give them a bit of depth, and I'm just going to tuck these under here and just add a bit of Tombow to the back. So that's there, and then again with this one, and this is the one we need to make sure. In fact, we're going to get rid of that bit of Tombow because I put it in the wrong place. So, because I want that to not drop below the line, but I equally don't want exactly the same bit of poppy. I don't know why I keep calling them poppies. Anyway, flower. So a bit more Tombow there. Tuck that in there. And you know what? I'm going to be brutal because nobody's going to know but us. I'm going to trim my flower. So that's going to go in under there because I don't want it to cover the E completely. So we'll just add a bit more glue. Pop it in there. Like that. Then we can start feeding bits of foliage in. And because I haven't put glue everywhere behind here, we can just tuck things in. Equally, we can do some surgery, which is I think what I'm going to do with this one. So a bit of glue top and bottom, and then just pop that into the gap. There we go. Then have a bit of green coming, the green, they're both green, the lemon lime twist green. So I say, just if you put glue both sides, it kind of means that wherever you put it, it's going to stick. It'll probably stick in more than one place as well, which is kind of what we want. This I can have coming up here. Now, do remember, during sale-a-bration, for every £45 you spend, you get to choose an item from the sale-a-bration brochure. There are level 1 and level 2 items. If you want a level 2 item, then you need to spend £90. But if you spend £90, you can either get 2 level 1 or 1 level 2 item. Do remember that the order has to be one order. So if you spend £40 on one order and £60 on another order, you would only get 2 items, but they would be 2 level 1 items, which would be a bit of a shame, really, because you'd actually get more than that if you placed one order. So do be strategic in your ordering, and don't waste free product. If you go to £200 of an order, you will then get extra sale-a-bration rewards. So you get your normal rewards, which you get 10% if you spend £150. But if you spend £200, you would get an extra £20 over and above your standard stamping rewards, which is always good to know. If you are placing a small order, so £150 or less, then if you use my host code, you will get to share in the host rewards for the month. So it's a way of getting some rewards without having to spend vast amounts of money. So do bear that in mind. You get, regardless of how many orders you place with me in a month, you do only get the 1 reward. But obviously the more orders you place, the larger the reward can be. Right, I've got some faceted gems here. I've already put one in the top right hand corner, and I'm going to put one here, and I think I might put this third one there, just as a sort of flower centre. And then it stands up on its own. And there you are. I think that's quite a pretty little piece. Obviously you could change it up for whatever time of the year it is or whatever you wanted it. The measurement, the way this works is whatever size cardstock you have, you end up with 5 inches, yes, a frame, the inside is 5 inches smaller in direction. So we've lost, this is 5 inches smaller than the width of a piece of A4. A4 is about 10 1/4, sorry, 8 1/4 inches, yep. So this should be 3 1/4, there you are, 5 inches less. But you can just do it in any direction you want. You can start with, I want an inner that's X, and put 5 inches on that. So if you wanted a 5 by 5 frame, start with a piece of 10 by 10 cardstock. But this just works in exactly the same way. So even if it's square, it works in exactly the same way. Really easy to do once you get your head around it. As I say, I will have a picture of the template on my website, so do have a look at that. If you've got any questions or comments, you can either leave them below in the description bar. As I say, do remember to when you order, to use the host code, which is in the description bar below. There's a link to my online store below. If you are thinking of joining my team, which would be fantastic, then there is a link to that below. Remember, you get £170 of product in your starter kit during sale-a-bration. Or if you are in Europe, and my team does go into Europe, you would get, she says, grabbing her cheat sheet, you would get 230 euros. So for the UK, it's £99, gets you £170 of product. In Europe, 129 euros gets you 230 euros of product. If you want the craft and carry tote, which is gorgeous, it will cost you 160 euros or 125 pounds, so 26 pounds more, and it's actually worth 47 pounds. I know, because that's how much I spent on it, and 31 euros more, and it's valued at 61 euros. So, as I say, France, the Netherlands, Austria and Germany, obviously, yes, use euros, and it would be lovely to welcome you to my team. Thank you very much indeed for watching. Do remember to go and look at everything else that is on the blog Hop. I can assure you, you will find some amazing projects. As I say, if you've got any questions or comments, either leave them below or drop me an email, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye!